Kia ora whānau, welcome back to Night Fever, the only podcast dedicated 100% to the Black Knights Auckland FC. I'm your host Jenks, and if you're listening to this, you're probably wearing an electric blue shirt with a very, very wide grin. Happy New Year everyone, or almost Happy New Year. We are sitting here at the turn of the calendar. 2025 is wrapping up and we're looking down the barrel of 2026. What a way to sign off the year. Today we're doing something a little different. With the postponement of the match away to Sydney FC, I'm going to do a recap of the season so far. So it's just me with the facts. We're 9 games deep into our season. We've played 9, won 6, drawn 2 and lost just 1. We've scored 14 goals, conceded only 7, and we've already done the double over our rivals down south. So for the next 40 minutes, I want to take a breath. I want to rewind the tape back to October and walk through every single game of the 25-26 campaign so far. Break down the key moments, the stats, the injuries, and the heroes that have made this a great start to our second season only in the A-League. So grab a coffee, maybe a cold one if you're listening in the evening. Let's relive the story of the Black Knights so far this season. Winding back the clock to the 18th of October, round 1 of the men's A-League. The nerves were real. We travelled away to Amy Park to face Melbourne Victory. Now, Victory, they are giants of this league. They're tough, they're physical, and playing them away for your first game of the season can be a baptism of fire. I remember watching the kickoff, seeing Hiroki Sakai wearing the captain's armband, Michael Vau in goal. It finally felt real. And the result? A 0-0 draw. On paper, a 0-0 draw isn't the most exciting start, but in context, it was perfect. It showed immediately that we weren't going to be pushovers. We saw our back four of Sakai, Dan Hall, Girdwood Reich and Francis de Vries lock it down. Michael Vau made a couple of sharp saves, but mostly we looked organised. We frustrated them, we walked away with our first points of the season, and most importantly, a clean sheet. You build houses on foundations like this. Then came round 2, a week later on the 25th of October at Go Media Stadium. The atmosphere was electric. We welcomed Western Sydney Wanderers. And this is where the romance of football kicked back in. It took just 21 minutes. We pressed them high. Something Corica has drilled into this team from day one. The Wanderers tried to play out from the back. They faltered, and who was there? Jesse Randall. The boy with lightning pace pounced on the loose ball, took a touch, and buried it. The first goal for Auckland FC this season, and it was at Go Media Stadium. The place erupted. We held on to that lead for dear life. It finished Auckland FC 1, Western Sydney Wanderers 0. 3 points, our first win, a clean sheet intact, and we weren't just participating in the league, we were competing. We finished October in round 3, back at home once again against Adelaide United. Adelaide are always tricky. They're fast in transition, but this game showed our character. We won 2-1, but it came at a cost. This was the game where we saw the first cracks in the squad's durability. We looked good going forward, but disaster struck for our captain. Hiroki Sakai pulled up with that hamstring injury. You could see the frustration on his face. He'd been immaculate for those first couple of games, but losing your captain and your marquee defender this early in the season is a nightmare scenario. But the boys rallied. We got the goals we needed, but we walked away knowing we'd be without our leader for a fair few weeks. Now, November. This was the month that tested our depth. We were on to round 4, a match against our New Zealand rivals, Wellington Phoenix. The first Kiwi Classico, if you will, the season. We travelled down to Sky Stadium to face the Phoenix. The narrative all week was about the Phoenix. They were ready to put one over on us, having lost all 3 against us last season. And let's be honest, the cake tin is never easy. But Sam Cosgrove had other ideas. This was Sam Cosgrove's breakout game. He scored in the first minute, 60 seconds on the clock, and we were 1-0 up in Wellington. It silenced the yellow fever, but the Phoenix, to their credit, came back at us, and it was a proper scrap. Then in the 34th minute, Cosgrove again, a brace for the big man. We were flying. But football is never simple. We picked up some serious battle scars in this one. Dan Hall, who had been an absolute rock at centre-back, got a straight red card early in the second half. We had to play with 10 men for nearly 40 minutes in the derby. And then, just to twist the knife, Jake Brimmer, our creative spark, the man who makes the midfield tick, went down with that dislocated shoulder. Seeing him walk off, arm in a makeshift sling, was gut-wrenching. So we were down to 10 men. We've lost Brimmer, we've lost Sakai the week before, and we still held on 2-1 to Auckland FC. We took the 3 points, we took the bragging rights, but we left Wellington limping. That led us into round 5, back at home against Brisbane Roar. We were patched up. Nando Peinecker stepped in for the suspended Hall. He'd missed the earlier part of the season from an injury he picked up previously. We had young guys filling the gaps, and it showed. We looked a bit disjointed. Lachlan Brooks scored a beauty in the 18th minute to settle the nerves. We thought, okay, we can do this. But Brisbane were stubborn. They equalised, and the game turned into a grind. It finished a 1-1 draw. The draw at home against Brisbane felt like 2 points dropped, especially after leading, but considering the injury list, we took the points. Then came the reality check. It was round 6, November the 29th, at home against Newcastle Jets. If you're a fan, this was the one that got away. The Jets came to Auckland with a game plan. Sit deep, frustrate, and hit on the counter, and it worked perfectly. Louis Verstraete scored for us, his first of the campaign, to give us hope, but defensively we were uncharacteristically loose. We missed Dan Hall's organisation, we missed Sakai's leadership, and we lost 1-2. Our first defeat, the Invincibles' dream for the season, was over, and honestly, it was probably a good thing. It stopped the hype train just for a second and forced the squad to reset. We ended November feeling a little bruised. 1 win, 1 draw, 1 lost. The honeymoon was officially over. So, how do you respond to your first loss? How do you handle the pressure when the media starts saying, oh, maybe the bubble has burst? You welcome your rivals back to your house and you smash them. Round 7, December the 6th, the return leg of the derby, Wellington Phoenix came to a Go Media Stadium looking for revenge. They didn't get it. This was, in my opinion, the most complete performance of the season. Lachlan Brook opened the scoring early in the 7th minute. Bang! 1-0 up. We controlled the midfield, even without Brimmer. Louis Verstraete was immense. Then the second half. Francis de Vries, what a player he has been for us. He stepped up to take what was our second penalty of the match. Having missed the first penalty by Sam Cosgrove, Francis de Vries took the ball in his hands and he stepped up to strike. It was another spectacular penalty save by the Wellington Phoenix goalkeeper, but Francis de Vries was quickest to the rebound and put it away to put us up 2-0. And then Guillermo Mai, our Uruguayan, he finally got on the score sheet in the 80th minute to steal it. 3-1, a dominant, emphatic victory. We've played Wellington twice, we've beaten them twice. Aggregate score 5-2. That settles the debate so far. New Zealand is blue and black. That win reignited the fire. We went into round 8 on December the 12th, facing a massive test, the Central Coast Mariners, and we had to play them away in Gosford. This is the hardest road trip in the league, but the kings of the road mentality showed up again. Jesse Randall got his second goal of the season in the 20th minute. But then a disaster. An own goal from Callian Elliott, who's been filling in for Sakai at right back, levelled it at 1-1. It could have crumbled there, but Sam Cosgrove, who else, stepped up in the 58th minute to restore the lead. We held on 2-1, beating Central Coast in their own backyard. This was a statement win. And finally, last week, round 9, December the 19th, we came back to Combank Stadium to face Western Sydney Wanderers for the second time this season. It was hot, it was humid, nasty conditions. The first half was a grind, 0-0 at the break, but Steve Corica made some tweaks. In the 57th minute, a bit of luck. Sam Cosgrove lined up a shot. It took a wicked deflection off Jesse Randall's heel. They did credit it initially to Cosgrove, but it has now gone down officially as a Randall goal. It looped into the back of the net over the goalkeeper to make it 1-0 to Auckland. Then the moment of the match. Lachlan Brook, playing against his old club, got played through by Verstrata in the 74th minute. He cut inside, kept his cool and slotted it past Lawrence Thomas. He didn't celebrate out of respect, but we certainly did. 2-0, another away win, another clean sheet for Michael Vow. We were scheduled to play Sydney FC in round 10, 27th of December, but just a couple of days prior, as you know, that game was postponed due to pitch conditions. A bit of a breather for the lads, but it does halt our winning momentum, 3 in a row and 2 key away wins in Australia. The new date for that match is yet to be decided. So that brings us up to date, 9 games, 6 wins, top of the table. Let's look at the standout performance. First, Michael Vow. There were questions when we didn't keep Paulson, but Vow has been a revelation. He commands his box, his distribution is solid, and he's kept plenty of clean sheets, especially at tough away grounds. He's arguably the goalkeeper of the season so far. Sam Cosgrove, he's got 4 league goals. He's the focal point. He holds up the play. He brings Randall and Brook into play. He scores big goals in big games. He is the classic number 9 that we needed. Lockie Brook and Jesse Randall, these two on the wings have been electric. Randall's pace is terrifying defenders, and Brook has that technical class to finish chances. They have 6 goals between them. And we have to talk about the next man up mentality. When Hiroki Sakai went down, Callan Elliott stepped in. When Dan Hall was suspended following his red card, Nando Peinecker stepped in. We also saw the return of Hiroki Sakai off the bench against the Wanderers last week. That is the best Christmas present we could ask for. Having our captain back for the second half of the season is massive. So, what next? We have a massive game to kick off 2026. New Year's Day at Go Media Stadium, we're hosting Newcastle Jets yet again this season. The only team to take 3 points off us so far this season. This is a revenge game. The boys are fired up and you need to be there. Start your New Year celebrations with 3 points. So it's been a whirlwind 3 months from the uncertainty of pre-season to the summit of the A-League. Bill Foley, our owner, said he wanted to win. He named us the Black Knights because he wanted a team that never surrenders, and that is exactly what we've seen. We are top of the league with 20 points. We have one of the best defence in the league, and we have the Derby bragging rights, and we are just getting started. Thank you for riding with us on Night Fever this year. If you've enjoyed this summary, please rate, review, and share it with your mates. Ensure you subscribe or follow so you don't miss any future content. Let's pack out Go Media Stadium on New Year's Day. I'm Jenks, signing off. Enjoy the holidays, stay safe, and as always, up the port, up the Black Knights. Goodbye for now.